Yeah. Eddie, how you doing? James, happy Friday to you. How you guys doing? Hanging out at the shop today. Yeah. Another day, another dollar. Gerald, hola from San Antonio, Texas. Glenn, how you doing? Brendan did a great job on the EVH Wolfgang. Okay, good, because I'm lucky because I do repairs down here. I do string change outs. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. But there's another guitar shop a mile down the street, and the luthier in the back room, his name is Brendan, and he does a great job. If I get in a pinch in something, if I'm like, oh man, I don't want to, whatever, if I get in trouble, I take it over to Brendan. So it's really nice to have a quality luthier right down the street in case I get in trouble with something. Dry Heat 480, what's happening? Well, you know, it's been sort of quiet down at the shop today. And this week, now last Saturday, man, I was swamped in here. And Monday was really good. Tuesday, it's been slow the last few days. But this high temperature finally has gotten to us. And it's just hot. And nobody is out. And you're looking out on the streets. And the streets are empty. Yeah. But I got my hands on this thing today. Now, a friend of mine is just letting me borrow this. But this is Judas Guitars out in Tennessee. And they do these relics. And this thing is, I'm going to say this is a really fabulous, authentic looking EVH guitar. I mean, everything about this. It's got the little blue around here and everything. And every detail on this is so close. The way that it's been routed out right here and everything. The quarter, it's 1971. So all the reflectors on the back. So everything about this guitar is just, I mean, this thing is spot on. Look at the relicing back here. Now, I know there's a few more of these that they are selling and they're on Reverb. But a friend of mine brought this in. He goes, hey, if you want to do a video about this, you can, he lets me borrow stuff to do videos. Yeah, so Judas Guitars. Not Judas, Judah. JUDAH guitars.com. Judah Guitars. This is one of theirs. And again, the details on this thing. I mean, I never had my hands on Eddie's real Strat. But from what I've seen in photos and stuff, they come so close. Look how close that is. And it's got the detuner on it. neck is real wide. So it kind of freaks me out on how wide this neck is. So, yeah, it's been kind of slow down here, so I appreciate you guys being on with me. Dry Heat 480, what's happening with you, man? Nice guy, Eddie. What's going on today? You guys got any questions for me? I'd love to answer some. Come on, guys, bring it on. Let me show you something else that I got. Something else that I've got. All right, now I actually own this guitar. Yeah, this is a Hamer. Made in USA. It's kind of, I think it's a Steve Stevens. Now this thing is old and it's been through the ringer, but I worked about 2 or 3 hours on this thing yesterday to try to make it work good, try to make it sound good. And yeah, this thing turned out good. Guitar, I've never checked out, but the only reason for the quarter to be in there is, yeah, to hold that Floyd in place. He was having some problems at one time. This is a whole different Floyd on this one. This is an old German Floyd. You can see how it's kind of setting up nice and high. Or can you? Maybe not. Maybe from this angle you can. Look how nice and high that baby's setting up. Plenty of wiggle room in there. But yeah, Eddie had a quarter on there at one time. He had to shove it in there to kind of hold that in place. Hamer guitars. Have any of you guys ever had any Hamers? I mean, they're pretty cool. USA guitar. Original Floyd Rose. Dry Heat's asking me, did anyone pick up the P melter? Go ahead and say it, man. Go ahead and say it. Yeah, somebody bought the P melter from me, so it's gone. Yeah, it's too bad. That was really fun having that down here for a little while, but I'll probably never ever see one ever again. But yeah, the P melter pedal is gone. And I told the guy flat up, dude, I did a video. I put a Boss distortion pedal right next to the P melter. We did them, A-B'd them, and I could hear no difference. I could dial in a bunch of different pedals to sound just like the Pussy melter pedal. And but it's sold because, man, guys want that stuff. And you want to be part of the hype, right? Glenn's asking me about Van Halen. What's your opinion on why Van Halen won't tour? I don't know. Those guys, they're just sick of each other. They grew up on each other. You know, Roth has his own YouTube channel, and it's just called The Roth Show. And they've been kind of fun. He's only getting a couple thousand views on each video, but he just babbles on about living in LA and talking. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking they're getting up in age. It's just a lot of trouble, man. And they got plenty of money. I don't know. The only reason they would need to go out and tour is for their fans. And so once in a while you could do something like Eddie could go out and set at, you know, he's always selling his EVH guitars. They're a great guitar. All Eddie has to do once in a while is go out and promote his guitars And he's probably fine with just doing that. Dave's the one that probably wants to get out and do a bunch of stuff. And he's still super high energy. Yeah, so Dave would probably love to go out and tour. But it's those Van Halen brothers that I think they're content just being retired. But I could be way wrong. I would love to see them go tour again and do all that kind of stuff. Nice guy Eddie says that he saw a BC Rich bass Warlock on the wall in my video of the store. And can you see the BC Rich Warlock? Yeah, let me grab the BC Rich Warlock. Let me set this thing back. I think I see it over here. Whoa, there it is. Yeah, look at this, guys. You could really get your Nicky 6 on with this thing, right? There it is. A lot of fingerprints on it. Didn't clean this one very good. But, yeah, there it is, man. Action's real low. The action's almost too low. Probably needs a little, look at that. Needs some adjustments. Needs a little, oh, it's dirty and everything. Yeah. Couple $100. Platinum Series, BC Rich Warlock. Any bass players out there? Strings feel really dead on this thing. Rico, that's right. 12. Rico, there's 17 of us hanging out, man. Thank you guys so much. I talked with, once in a while you think about doing a Google Live Hangout, and maybe Guitar Hack said he'd come on with me. Maybe I'll do some stuff like that one of these days. Yeah, Eddie Van Halen, who knows? He might be sick. He might just be sick of it. Yeah, it's got the binding on the body. It needs shined up. The saddles are like practically setting on the ground. You know what I'm saying? They're flat. They're setting on the bridge. So this thing needs some work. Needs some adjustments. It is a metal bass, man. You tune it down to D, and you play some Motley Crue on it. Rico, how you doing, man? Eddie's a BC Rich freak. Yeah. Oh, no. The big C again for Eddie. Did he ever stop smoking? I'm going to put this back. Did Eddie ever quit smoking? That'll do it. Yeah, so I got this hammer. And I was working on this thing, and a friend of mine is like, hey, man, you're high just yesterday. Your high E string is fretting out. And what it was is the springs on this Floyd was over tightened, and it was pulling the whole thing down like this. And so the high E string was actually rubbing on the little saddle adjustment bolt that's right there. And so it was rubbing against the string. But I think I got it. The input jack's a little weird. I know, Glenn, he never quit smoking. That's too bad, man. That's just too bad. You got to quit smoking. The color of this hammer, I'm going to say it's kind of a sunburst. It's got the dark, it's black on the back. Well, it's got a little burst in the back. But it's that orangey sunburst with the black, 2-color. It's not 3-color. I only see 2 colors. But yeah, USA made hammer, and it does not have a serial number on it. So it's an old one. But I'm looking at reverb on some of them, and I know that there's a Steve Stevens model from Billy Idol, but his has his little autograph right here, and so this one does not have that. So yeah, Eddie, that's too bad. Yeah, that's a tough disease, and if Eddie's has it, that's a great excuse for not touring, right? Because everybody, all the Van Halen fans in the world are like, come on, man, what's wrong? What's going on? Get out there, let's do something. But if he's sick, man, you gotta cut the guy a break, right? I don't know if he's, this is the first I've heard of anything about Eddie possibly being sick. So I'm not trying to start a rumor or anything, but you just never know. You just never know. I know that Michael Anthony would be awesome if Michael Anthony would get back in the band. And I know that Sammy Hagar even told his manager, or told Howard Stern or somebody, hey, if Van Halen's back together and they want Michael Anthony back in the band, you guys got my blessing. So Sammy's being super cool about it. Yeah, Sammy and Michael are out right now, and they are killing it. I know. I see all the videos. I've watched them. I watched a lot of them. Yeah, so McKnight was in here a few days ago. And he flew out to Germany. Yeah, so Phil McKnight, he lives right down the street. So from time to time, he'll come in here. And so he got on a plane yesterday, and he's over in Germany now for the Thomann Gearhead University event that's going on over there. And so how cool would that be to get to go do something like that? Yeah, Glenn, Nick Sterling came into my shop, and he's a real young kid. He's getting a little bit older, but 5 or 6 years ago, he did an album with Sebastian Bach, and it was, you know, the guy from Skid Row. and he lives here in Phoenix, and he came into my store and was looking around. He played this old Maserite copy thing that I have here. And I did a little YouTube video about it. If you guys want to watch that video, it's just Nick Sterling's in here, and he's going to play for a minute, and that's all it was. But yeah, he's a super nice guy, and he's a great musician, and hopefully something will, his career will take off again, and he'll get to do something really good, something really fun. You never can tell. But he definitely proved himself as a great songwriter. In a lot of ways, I think Sebastian Bach kind of used him just to write the songs and write the album and work hard. And sometimes it takes a young person to really motivate you and to really do stuff. And that's exactly what Nick Sterling did for, it's exactly what Nick did for Skid Row and Sebastian Bach. Mark, how you doing, brother? Paul, what are you doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Paul, what's up?
What are you doing?
Paul Marshall. He's got the cool ass name.
It's a cool ass name. Oh, are you streaming?
I am. You want to join?
Sure. What are you doing?
We are talking shit to my 19 friends I have on right now. I got Neanderthal here, guys.
I just thought I'd stop by and say hello. Hello.
Grab that chair over there, brother.
What chair? Where? There's no chair. What chair? There's no chair.
Dude,
It's over there. It's way the fuck over there. No,
okay. All right. That one's kind of tall. You need to sort of get that blue custom one in front of that cube there.
Oh boy.
There you go. Yeah. So again, Sammy Hagar's kicking butt. What else is going on? Sammy and Marco are having fun doing their own thing. That's true, man. They don't. You know what? If you want to talk about money, which we always love to do.
I like money.
I Googled searched the net worth of Eddie Van Halen, and he's worth like $100 million or something. But then I searched Sammy Hagar, and he's worth like $140 million. So
Sammy made a lot of money in liquor.
Right.
He also made money in mountain bikes. He was
mountain bikes.
Yes, he had a piece of a mountain bike company. I don't know if it was Gary Fisher or not. But there were Red Rocker mountain bikes back in the 90s. Late
Gary
90s.
Fisher?
No. And I think, yeah, he made money in mountain bikes. He made money in liquor. He invested his money wisely. Sammy Hagar made more money outside of Van Halen than he made in Van Halen.
Moss Tequila.
Yeah, so good for him. He sold that. He bought when he put together that Cabo Wabo tequila company. He built it from a small little boutique brand into one of the world's greatest tequilas through marketing, because the tequila itself was great to begin with. But then he marketed it and it became worldwide known. And then he sold it, 80% of the company. He still owns 20% of the company, and he made a lot of money.
How much of that stuff did he drink? You think I bet he drank a lot of tequila, huh?
He does rum now. Rum is his liquor.
Is he into rum now?
That's what he's pushing now.
Yeah, we got Neanderthal on here with us today.
So I just thought I'd stop by and say hello. I didn't have any plans to do this, but hello.
Thanks for coming in, bro. We got Randy, customer of mine. He goes over to the Sunday night jam with me, and I sold him a Randall amp, and he took it to a blues jam the other night.
Is that the Randall that was just here?
Yeah.
Oh, good
that
for
thing
you.
is gone.
Does he like it?
Randy seems to like it, and what else is he saying? Oh, he's got a gig out in Apache Junction on Saturday. He's gonna take it out to Lucky Strikes.
No, was
in
that
AJ?
Was that a tube or was that solid state?
It was a solid state.
Yeah, Randall makes great solid state amps. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know if they made a tube amp. But a nice fat chunky solid state sound out of those Randalls.
Did I see a Dean V hanging on my wall?
You have a Dean V over on the wall. It's actually a Dave Mustaine V. Over there it is.
Let me go get that.
It's second from an acoustic. There's an acoustic bass over there, which is an Ibanez, I believe, or Ibanez, if we want to pronounce it properly. But yeah, that looks like a Mustaine V. They call it the King V or something like that. I don't remember. That's a Mustaine. It's a Mustaine signature V. Dean quality has gotten a lot better over the years. They used to be shit. Now they're much better guitars. They're Asian manufacturing. Their American guitars have always been good, but they had some issues with their Asian manufacturing for a long time. But they've come back and make nice, pretty nice, affordable entry-level guitars right now. If you can find an American Cadillac or something like that, go with that as well.
And if Nice Guy Eddie wants to see a guitar, I'm going to walk over and grab it for him, because he bought the Epiphone Zach Wild from me. I shipped it all the way to Maine. But yeah, there it is, brother.
Rico just asked about what happens with the 7-second delay. It rebuilds. In fact, we have ours is set up for multiple delays. I think I have ours set up for 12 seconds. so that if somebody says a bad word, you bang it, it cuts 4 seconds, and then it starts to rebuild immediately. So I can do it 2 or 3 times in a row. But usually after you swear the first time, we cut you off the air.
No swearing on my channel, Paul.
Booger. Just got a text. I'm reading a text. It's rude.
Can't come in here and try to be Howard Stern.
I don't want to be Howard Stern, although I wouldn't mind having some of his money. I did afternoons on a station that was a Stern affiliate in Memphis.
Did you?
Yeah, so I could do whatever I wanted because there was nothing I could do that was more obnoxious than what was going on in the morning.
Oh, right.
So it was great.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome, guys. What else going on? Can you read those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it weird that Maurice is asking, is it weird that Ibanez is a guitar made in Japan? No. Fujigen bought the Ibanez brand years ago. So no, it's not weird. And arguably the best Japanese guitar manufacturer on the planet and have been for decades. So what's weird is that people don't pronounce it properly, that they still pronounce it Ibanez, but it's the proper is Ibanez.
Ibanez.
So
look at this thing right here, man.
Yeah, who beat up on the? This
is Judah
on the fake Wolf.
Judah guitars out of Tennessee.
Yeah, this is a fake. It's a replica of the Frankenstrat. They did an okay job with it.
It looks really good, doesn't it?
71 quarter.
Yeah.
If we're being historically accurate, no D-tune-up.
No D-tune-up.
No D-tune-up.
But that
I love the
sure
pickup
is
switch is dumped in there. The pickup switch is dumped right in there.
Mm-hmm. They reliced everything really nicely.
Yeah, I love that. Relicking a guitar is an amazing thing to me. You pay for somebody else to beat the shit out of your guitar. Oh, I swore. It's over. Show's over. Sorry, kids.
I'm monetized now.
Oh, is that what happens? Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I won't make 35 cents on this one.
All right, I'll give you a 35 cents before I leave. It's like the swear jar when we were kids.
Yeah.
It's amazing that people pay to get these things beat up by somebody else. If you play your guitar long enough, it'll get beat up. Obviously, they put an EVH Stripe Series neck on it, which is kind of cool. I will assume that this was all an EVH Stripe Series guitar at one point, and they just sort of beat it up. They sort of beat it up.
They did their thing to it.
So did you buy this?
No, a friend of mine brought it in, and he just said, "Hey, you can do a video about this if you want." And I don't know if I'll go to that extent, but I wanted to at least show you guys. And you can go on Reverb and order these.
Be careful.
They have 3 or 4 of them, and yeah, it's a guy in Tennessee that does them.
Be careful with these, though, because obviously the Fender Musical Instrument Company owns the trademark, or Eddie Van Halen owns the trademark, but they're licensed under that EVH brand under Fender. So anybody that's going to do this and try to sell these guitars, be very careful, because Fender legally has the right to come in and seize anything that you're trying to sell. This guitar is not for sale, so we have no problem showing it here.
Mm-hmm.
But if people are trying to make money off of these, they can be in trouble. It's a sketchy. It's like buying a Chipson. You know what I mean? It's exactly like buying a Chipson. Mm-hmm. Chipson has a trademark. Gibson has a trademark on their guitar, on their shape, on their designs. Eddie Van Halen has the trademark on that pattern of paint on it. That having been said, I had a friend of mine who's a custom painter up in Carmel, New York, at CHS Customs, paint up a Kramer 1984 for me. Painted it up like the 5150.
That's right.
It's a beautiful guitar.
That is a nice one.
The beautiful thing about a Relic guitar is you can beat the snot out of it. See what I did? I didn't swear.
Yeah.
You can beat the snot out of it and not worry about it. Like if you're buying a guitar and you're worried about every little finish scratch or something like that, it's probably more a museum piece than a player piece. Nice
Guy Eddie has a little different problem that he's worrying about, and he keeps buying guitars, and his wife gets mad at him.
Well, that's what you got to do, is you got to justify it by trading guitars or selling off something to justify it so it doesn't bleed your budget, your house budget, which is a tough thing to do.
Or else buy her a new pair of shoes or something. Every time you get a guitar, you have to buy her something.
Not at all sexist, but the other thing about it is, again, if you can justify it, here's the way I look at it. If like, I don't drink, I don't go out drinking at bars. So think about if you go out to drink, or if you go out to get like a sushi meal or something like that. A good dinner is going to cost you $100 at a place, right?
Really good deal.
A really good, $100 at like if you go to like a sushi bar, it's going to cost you
$40 some at Boston Market yesterday.
Right. So if you think about how many dinners out you didn't go to, and you take that money and you put it away in your little budget, your little guitar budget, and then it's like any other allowance or savings account, then you have no problem because it's money you didn't spend, and you're not eating crap food that gets you all fat.
Like I always do. What's he saying? I just show her the same one listed at a higher price. Yeah, just convince her you got a great deal on it. You can't pass it up.
I can't tell you the last time I paid full price for a guitar. I don't. I buy them from Zim. If he comes across something that he knows I'm looking for, I'll get a text out of the blue and say, hey man, I've got one of these that you're looking for. Come on down and check it out. But I never pay retail prices. There's no reason for you to pay retail price for a guitar. Especially the ones that get handled at some of the bigger guitar stores who shall remain nameless. Those guitars are juggled by monkeys on a regular basis, taken off the shelves, beaten up, dropped. I mean, I've watched people knock them into each other with the finishes, and you can look at them, and then they want you to pay full retail price for a guitar off the rack. That's been, in that situation, I look at that model and I say, do me a favor, go in the back and get me a brand new one out of the box. And I play that one and see if that one speaks to me.
All right, guys. So we're heading in a whole different direction with these things. But Paul has the Harley Benton Telly, and this is the Harley Benton Strat.
They have Wilkinson pickups in them, which are pretty good.
Yeah. So what are you guys' thoughts on these imported from Thomann out of Germany? The Harley Benton, they're priced very inexpensive. They have all this gloss on them and everything.
They're made in China.
Yeah.
For full disclosure.
It kind of reminds me of like SX guitars. Have you guys seen SX? I mean, they're a great quality brand, but for some reason these things are really huge on all the YouTube videos. Everybody's getting into the whole Harley Benton fad.
Looks like, I mean, they essentially look like, for the price that he's got them listed for in here, it's just a little bit more than a Squire Affinity, and it looks like much better quality. Wilkinson Bridge, Roswell.
Maurice is in Argentina, man. How you doing down there? Oh, it's going into wintertime down there. You got wintertime. How awesome is that?
Best guitarist I've ever seen live. I never got to see Les Paul in New York at the Iridium Club, but he's the best guitar player I've ever seen. Steve Vai. Steve Vai is the best guitar player I've ever seen live. He's phenomenal. Yeah, it's tough to top that. It really is. He does everything at a superhuman level. The
thing is, us old guys, we've seen them all. I mean, I saw Queen. I saw the Grateful Dead.
Garcia was a really underrated guitar player, believe it or not.
Never saw Led Zeppelin, but of course I saw Van Halen half a dozen times. I was at the US Festival in 1983, and
Glen Helen Park in San Bernardino, California, Memorial Day.
Yeah, that was good times.
That show sucked. I mean, they were awesome. They were awesome, but they sucked at the same time.
Ozzy did good. Triumph did good.
Triumph was great.
Scorpions was crushing it. Yeah.
Glenn, you're wrong. Satriani is not the king. Satriani is an amazing songwriter. He's a better songwriter than Steve Vai, but he's not a better player. He's a great songwriter. He writes a great groove, but no, not the king.
Satriani actually had like a radio hit with an instrumental.
Yeah, it's very rare that happens.
Steve Vai cannot do that.
Yeah, I mean, For the Love of God and the Audience's Listening was the closest he came to having his own radio hit. But Satriani, you can still hear Always With Me, Always With You on the radio. The difference between Satriani and Vai is simple. Vai is way better technically than Satriani. Satriani writes way better songs.
So that makes
I think that matters.
I think him king in a way.
I think songwriting matters. I'll give you a great example. AC/DC Fly on the Wall tour. 1985, Boston Garden. Opener was Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen came out and he did his Little Italy's, which is when you play really fast and it sounds like, and he crushed it. He was amazing. It was phenomenal. It was great. But nobody gave a shit. There it is again. There's another 35 cents. But Angus come out and played the one note to the beginning of Guns for Hire as their intro and just hung on that now note, and everybody forgot. Being technically proficient doesn't necessarily make you a better guitar player. Chuck Berry, not the most technically proficient guitar player in the world, the king of rock and roll. So doesn't matter if he took lessons, Glenn. Again, I'm not going to argue with you. That's your opinion, and I have my opinion, and never the two shall meet.
Glenn, get your butt down here right now.
Vi also learned under Frank Zappa, who is a master composer. And there's something to be said for that Satriani never had. Satriani is also very boring live. He plays great, but he's boring live, whereas Vi can do all those things that he does and then puts on a show that is second to none. So, but that's cool. You have your favorite, I have mine, and that's great.
I took lessons from Satriani.
Yeah, early on. Early on, and then that was when he was a teenager, by the way.
Who else was there? Who else took lessons from
Kirk Hammett took lessons from Satriani as well. Yeah, he was like 12, 13 years old. By the time he got to the Berklee School for Music, he had already gone to a place that Satriani could never have taken him. Satriani's not a technical player. He's a groove player that can play technically well, but it's different. It's just they're two different styles of guitar players.
Harley Benton Rickenbacker copy that plays great. Tiny blemishes here and there. Yeah. You know what? I think cheap guitars are going to overtake the world. Stuff's getting cheaper.
Here's the thing about cheap guitars.
Guitar Hack, how you doing?
Music is an audio art form. I guarantee you, if you're listening to one of your favorite songs, you would never know what kind of guitar it was played on. You know what I mean? If it's played on a cheap Harley Benton $200 guitar, or it's played on a $2,500, PRS or whatever you want to use for the reference for expensive guitars at the moment. If it feels good, it is good. If you can get a groove out of it and that guitar speaks to you, then there's no appreciable. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a difference between playing a $1,000 guitar and a $200 guitar. But if that $200 guitar gets those grooves for you, then you're wasting $800 on that.
Yeah, like Eddie says, is you can buy the whole Harley Benton for less than the sum of the parts.
Yeah,
for less than what it costs you in the parts. But it's kind of neat, kind of fun looking.
They're good guitars. They, I don't know what they're made of, but it's pretty solid.
Kind of heavy. It's kind of heavy in my opinion.
Could be plywood.
I like lighter stuff.
You bought a couple of Kiesels. Those aren't light. My Kramer, the one that I had painted up,
how you doing, man?
is a maple body.
We're doing good.
Dane has a customer right now, so I guess I'm going to stall while Dane deals with his customer. Find out what he has to do.
Your webcast?
Little live stream thing.
All right, I'll move over here.
That's a live stream.
Yeah, Maurice, that's the Eddie Van Halen thing. Tone is in the fingers. Great example. I think I've told this story before, but you may not have been watching. Jerry Cantrell, 1991, 92. Alice in Chains are opening for Van Halen on the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour. Eddie gets his Ernie Ball Music Man guitar in his rig, and he's jamming it up during sound check. So Cantrell's on the side of the stage, and he sees Eddie's guitar, and Eddie, being friendly at the time, says, "Hey, come here, check this out. Check out my guitar." And he hands the Music Man to Cantrell. Cantrell picks it up and starts strumming it, starts playing it, and he doesn't like the way it sounds. He's like, all right, well, so he's nice about it. He goes, "Thanks, Ed," and he gives the guitar back to Ed. Eddie picks it up, starts playing it, and it sounds like Eddie again, and that's all in the hands. There's nothing you can, if you can't do it with an acoustic guitar, you can't do it. Gerald, you're talking about the Harley Bentons or basswood? Okay, I'll take your word for it. Basswood's another thing that got a bad rap for a long time, until I think it was Tom Anderson who said this is the combination basswood with a maple neck.
It's in 1968.
What's it going for?
I haven't had a price on it yet, but what we do.
So there's that.
We find out what other ones around.
This plays nice for it. He's got it listed for $200. $200. For $200, you can't get pickups, a bridge, a body, the wood, all the stuff that comes with it. It's already put together. It's got fairly decent tuners on it. You know what I mean? For $200, good luck. Good luck finding something better. Heavier guitars, nice guy Eddie. Heavier guitars are going to resonate a little bit longer, resonate a little bit fuller. You know, like, and you're going to get less microphonic feedback. Obviously, the more solid the wood, the less likely it is to feedback, and of course, the better the pickups are, the more tightly wound they are. And a lot of times you want to pot them, which is dipping your pickups into hot paraffin wax. And what that does is it puts a little coat of wax around it so that the microphone, the magnets don't resonate and got the wire to vibrate, so you don't get any microphone feedback.
No, it's not the
I have seen Steve Morse, Glenn, actually. That's the question. Have I seen Steve Morse? I have. The sad thing about Steve right now is he's got some tendonitis in his picking hand. And I'm not sure how much longer he's going to play, but Steve Morse is phenomenal. In fact, it took me a while to get into Deep Purple with Steve Morse. I loved him. You know, I'm a Blackmore guy. I like Deep Purple with Blackmore. So when they switched over to Steve Morse, I was almost inherently avoidant to it. And then I went and saw them live with Morse, and I was like, okay, well, this makes sense.
No, I am.
Yeah.
Well, I'll leave you gentlemen alone, and I'll go.
Oh, not at all.
Check that hummingbird out. And get back with you.
Thank you very much. I'm Dane.
You're Dane.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, Dane. All right.
Let me know what
Yeah,
you think.
CNC is great. Not only Maurice is saying CNC is a gift for players. What that does is that the CNC is a computer-designed template that allows guitars to be cut more accurately, consistently accurate with the right dimensions overall, and it reduces the chance for junk guitars. So yeah, CNC is great. You know, purists hate it because they want guitars all to be handmade and cut from the wood, but all the finishing is done by hand for most American guitars. The finishing is done by hand, so you're going to get, you know, minor variances, but the basic cutout from a CNC machine is great, and obviously it cuts down on human labor, which automation is a sort of a double-edged sword. It keeps the cost down for the consumer, but it sometimes puts some people out of work.
But that's a tough job sitting there sanding wood all day, huh?
Yeah, I mean that would be. I mean,
It's a tough job.
that's why it's a lot of that sort of base labor is done in Asian manufacturing companies or South American manufacturing countries because those people down there are used to doing sort of manual labor, almost like farm work labor, that kind of thing. So they go in, they do piecework and stuff like that, and they cut it, and then a lot of that stuff is shipped. Like you'll notice, a lot of the Gibson guitars that are made in Asia under the Epiphone or the Kramer brand are cut, and all the base work is done overseas, and then they're shipped off to Nashville for the finish work. So,
You know what? If you watch that Firefly video that I did a few days ago, one of the comments, so the guitar had some buffing compound that was still kind of in the grooves of the neck. And one of the comments, and I was like, I think that's buffing compound, or maybe it's just very dry. And one of the comments was, no, those are tears, stains from the 8-year-old working in the factory. It's kind of funny.
8.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, you know, look, if you want to be, pull the cork sniffing deal, most of the cost of American-made guitars is labor.
Mm-hmm.
It's labor because we in this country don't work for pennies on the dollar, whereas other countries, their economy and their quality of life is different than ours. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, you want guitar is that's a skilled craft, mm-hmm. and people should be paid for their skill. If you want to get the basic cutting stuff, all the basic cutting that can be done, the menial labor that can be done in another country, wood is wood. In fact, there was a time when, everybody wants Brazilian rosewood. Well, that's mm-hmm. South American rosewood. So we want Brazilian rosewood, mm-hmm. but we don't want Brazilian guitars. We don't mind taking the exotic wood from another part of the country, but we don't want the guitar built by their hands for some strange reason. It's a big faction of cork sniffing in guitar world, and I don't quite get it. Good guitar is a good guitar. Glenn just asked about if I knew anything about Eddie Van Halen's health. No, I don't. I haven't heard anything as far as his personal health. He's spending a lot more time doing making guitars these days than he is making music.
It looks like we have a hockey question up there.
Where?
Who's the Blues or the Bruins, David?
Right now, the Blues are dominating. Originally I had picked the Bruins in 5. They're a better team. They have more talent on their team. They have a deeper roster of talented players. But the difference is coaching. Bruce Cassidy has made a couple of really bad coaching moves, one of which was starting Zdeno Chara last night. Yeah, it's already Relic. Don't worry about it. He's just giving it a personal Relic touch. And Craig Berube, it deserves the Jack Adams trophy for a Coach of the Year. The Blues, if the Blues lose on Sunday afternoon, then they're in trouble. But right now, obviously, they've only got to win one, and the Bruins have got to win two. And so far, people are bitching about that non-call last night, the trip call. It was a bad call, but that wasn't the difference in the game. It would have been different if the game was tied or if the Bruins were playing at a level that call robbed them of an opportunity to win, but it really didn't. St. Louis was outplaying them. So right now, it's St. Louis's cup to lose.
So I'm going to guess you know a little bit about hockey.
Yeah. I grew up in Boston, so I am a Bruins fan.
I gotcha.
I'm a Bruins fan, and hockey is a religion up in New England. You have two choices. You can either, after football season, you can either put on the skates and play hockey or grab a basketball. I'm only 6 foot tall, so basketball wasn't my thing. I played hockey.
Nice.
Yeah, they did score in the trip, but it didn't matter. They were already up in the game. They were already up 1-0 in the game. So, and there were a couple other calls that the Bruins, there were some hooking calls and some high check calls and some boarding calls that didn't happen. So, that should have been waved off, but it wasn't the difference. Trust me, if the Bruins were not in a position, they weren't coming back, they weren't playing well, they weren't in control of that game. That was not the difference, and there was plenty of time left in that game for them to come back and play. In fact, they did come back and score. I think the mistake last night was starting Chara and sitting down a healthy Backus. Wow. Chara's too slow. He's 42 years old. He's great. He's a great leader, and he's put in 21 years in the league, but he's about a half step too slow right now, and speed is the difference right now in these games because St. Louis is taking the body early.
How about that?
Basketball. It doesn't make – I don't know shit about basketball. Nothing. And that's terrible because where I grew up in Boston, I grew up during the Celtics Big Three era with McHale and Bird and Parrish. Right. And it was the Celtics and the Lakers every year, maybe the greatest era of basketball. I remember when we were kids, basketball, every one of those teams had like a Hall of Famer. It was Michael Jordan and David Robinson and Patrick Ewing and Dr. J and Bill Laimbeer and Robert Horry and Robert Parrish. And everybody had an amazing player in their team back then. So basketball was better back then than it is now. Mm-hmm. And the Suns suck.
Oh, another 35 cents.
I know. I'm in.
You're going to be over.
I only owe him like $2 today, I think. I think I got one more before I'm over $2. Nice guy. He says he lives near Boston, so he has to stick with the Bees, but he doesn't feel good about it. Are you a New York fan? Are you a Buffalo, Hartford? Where do you live? Yeah, go Spurs, go. But
yeah, he's in San Antonio.
The Spurs are not in it. Yeah,
he's in San Antonio. That's why.
The Spurs aren't in it.
Maybe we should change this whole thing to news talk.
No, man, it's funny because music and sports seem to be linked a lot of times. People, for whatever reason, it's funny though. People love music and sports, but very few do both. Like jocks make fun of the kids that stayed home and played guitar every afternoon for hours at a time, and those guys had all that time because they weren't playing sports in the afternoon. It's almost like you had to make a choice as a kid between one or the other.
Yeah.
Grew up in Foxborough. What part of Foxborough? I used to live above the Hat Company on Bird Street, which is right outside of Foxborough Center and the common kitty corner from the Foxborough Library. I don't even know if the hat shop is still there. It's an old building right on the edge of Bird Street. So there you go, Eddie. I used to practice when I played Pop Warner football. We used to practice down at the Foxborough State School because and the Patriots would come down there back when they didn't have natural grass at Schaefer Stadium. That's out of tune. You know why? Because you knocked it off the counter. Yeah, these things feel nice. To me it feels like a Squire.
Yeah,
feels a little like a Squire. But
they're
for $200.
They're Europe's version of a Squire. That's what it is.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
Well, how are you?
We're streaming online right now because there was nobody here.
Whoops.
That's
No,
all right.
you're fine.
It's okay. But we're glad you're here. It's not like we're trying to tell you to leave.
All right, I was gonna say we don't want to like.
Not at all. That's bad business, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, our sign is plugged
I'm
in.
doing my phone.
It's lit up, and we are open.
He's going to take care of his customer, and I'll sit here and take care of his channel again. You want
Again?
Where does this go?
What's that? What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that you're running a business here. Business, dog. Yeah, that state hospital was pretty weird. It was. I remember, just to fill everybody in. Nice guy Eddie was talking about. He lives up in Maine. I don't know how this became about New England, but there was a state hospital. It was a mental hospital, and we would go down there and practice football as kids. Then I would go back home and play my piece of crap Allegretto Les Paul copy, which I still have. It's the first guitar. I have to bring it in sometime. It's the first guitar I ever got. My father bought it for me for my 11th birthday in 1979. Paid $110 for it, and he got ripped off. This guitar is garbage, but I love it. It's the only thing I still have left as a memory of my dad. My dad has been gone for 23 years now, but that guitar is awesome.
You're getting more questions there, man. You're doing good.
Yeah. Attleboro, huh? Attleboro, I only know anything about. I got pulled over on Route 1 in Attleboro. So we're not going to. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you exceed the post.
In jail?
You exceed the posted speed limit. No, I only went to jail once. True story.
Okay.
Drinking with Zach Wilde. I worked for a radio station in Boston called WAAF, and Zach Wilde and we had a very good relationship. We went to the Capitol Grill the night before Ozfest. And
Did Zach get hauled in too?
No. He had a handler that took care of him, a guy named Tim. Tim's no longer with Black Label, but Tim was Zach's handler at the time. We had done 3 or 4 Stoli Dolis, which is a vodka and I think it's grapefruit. Yeah, it's vodka and grapefruit, I think. And drank a couple of those, and they were in nice, beautiful mixers and stuff. And then Zach pulled out some Becks out of his vest.
What year was this? How long ago?
2004. 2004. And so long story longer, we left the Capitol Grill, and we were all, I think, fairly overserved. So I had to hang out at the radio station for a few hours until I sobered up. And I left at about, 3 a.m. And I'm in my truck. I was doing 70 on Storrow Drive in Boston, past the state trooper barracks, not realizing that there was a trooper in the parking lot. So I got pulled over, and I didn't get arrested for drunk driving, and I didn't get arrested for speeding. I got arrested because I had an expired plate sticker on the back of my truck that I didn't realize that it had expired. No, it wasn't on my truck at the time. It was an old expired plate sticker from like 13 years before that I had a court date for that I didn't go to, that I didn't realize I had a court date for because I was illegally using my parents' address in New Hampshire to save insurance money from having to pay in Massachusetts.
That sounds like a great reason to go to jail.
So I went to jail I only went for like a few hours though, but it sucked. I was on my bike, what was it, just a couple of days ago. Yeah, we went out to the Rocket Man thing. I was on the bike, Dylan. It was good.
Let me show you a few things that I've gotten recently. The MXR Echoplex. Got one of these recently.
And that's the Eddie Van Halen delay right there. The sound, that reverb sound that Eddie gets on his Eruption is because of an Echoplex. That gives it a full sound. I think I was at that show, Eddie, that indoor beach party. I think it was in Fitchburg. So what else is going on? Yeah, it is a great reason to go to jail, Maurice. It was bad. What else is going on? I actually came down just to see what Dane was doing, because here's the beautiful thing about this shop is in 7 days he can turn a bunch of inventory. It's kind of fun. It's not like when you go to one of the big stores. The big stores, you know what you're getting and stuff like that. But when you're dealing with a used guitar shop,
stuff comes in.
Strange things come in and go, and it's like it's quick. You got to come in and get it because there's a small group of us that come in and they're like, we know what we're looking for. We also know what the other guy's looking for. So it's kind of like a game. I mean, between me and McKnight and Glenn and a couple other guys, the stuff that Dane gets that's pretty cool, that like the unique stuff, we try to snag it as much as possible.
And Lawrence Petros. I get Lawrence Petros stuff all the time.
Songus, the Songus Arena.
So this is a green Russian. So this is a fuzz, kind of like a Russian fuzz pedal.
Eddie's asking the Songus Arena in Lowell. The only show I went to at that was the indoor beach party that Black Label Society played after Dime was killed. When Vinny was supposed to get up on stage, he did get up on stage with Black Label, and they did a couple of Pantera tunes. I think they did Walk and a couple other things. Nick Bocott, who lives here in Phoenix, he works for Marshall Amplifiers now. He was a guitar player for Grim Reaper. He did like a 15-minute tribute to Dime. That was phenomenal. That's the last time I went to the Songus Arena. And if you were there,
Grim Reaper.
Yeah, the entire stage was surrounded by Hell's Angels for security to make sure that Vinny was safe, and he was. Yeah. Again, we're talking about music now. These beach parties. It was basically in New England in early spring. The radio station I worked at would go inside to a small arena, like a hockey arena or whatever, bring tons of sand and dump it all over the floor and set up a volleyball net, and they would have an indoor beach party in springtime. It was like 35 degrees outside, but inside it was almost like the Senate scene in Caligula.
So this thing's kind of unique. This is Walter Tone Effects. This is a super driver from Walter Tone Effects.
I love the finish on that case.
Yeah, really unique, isn't it?
And that's a distortion
It's an
pedal.
overdrive, yeah.
I love
Superdrive.
the case on that. That thing is nice. Is it actual marble or is it plastic? It's like it's an acrylic.
Yeah.
It's an acrylic, but that thing is cool.
So that's new.
Badass. It's brand new. That's the other thing. Dane does get brand new stuff too. The guitars are used, but a lot of his accessories and equipment, the pedals and stuff like that, he orders directly from the manufacturers. So, and these are brand new.
This is like basically new old stock. So that's in on consignment. And that was in a good friend's store. And he has a whole bunch of them, and he brought that into me.
This is an American
and so
Paul Reed
that
Smith.
Still has all the hang tags on it.
Yeah, that's
like new condition. And it's the Paul Reed Smith Mirror.
It's the original Paul Reed Smith. American made and no miles.
No, just no miles.
No miles on it. This was brand new, sitting in a shop that closed down, and the owner brought it in for consignment for Dane. So yeah, there is some new stuff here too, and it's pretty good.
That's a nice one.
Paul Reed Smith makes a great guitar.
Oh, it's lightweight too.
Zim, question: do you sell any ZIMM'S baseball caps? There, now you got to get into some marketing.
No, but I still have some yo-yos.
He does have some yo-yos, by the way.
So, of course, you guys all probably seen my yo-yo video where I went to NAMM and I got Michael Anthony and I got all these guys to do a yo-yo
Lukather too?
I did. I got
Yeah,
Steve Lukather did a yo-yo trick.
Not only is Steve Lukather on every album that you've never heard of. I mean, believe it or not, he's one of the most amazing session players in the history of rock. He's also pretty good with a yo-yo, and Zim had him work it.
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
Nice guy Eddie asked. I have a 99 FXR3. There's the phone. Wow, ZIMM'S is getting busy all of a sudden. What are we doing with this?
Just showing some people what that
yeah,
thing is.
I like this. Yeah, the Dirty Donnie acoustic. This thing's kind of neat. The graphic is kick-ass. This is a guitar for a specific player. Somebody really, really wants to play this thing. It's got a unique look to it. It's like something. This is something that that I think that
it's the
what do you call it? That you would see like some goth guy play, or Johnny Depp would play in the Vampires. Axis says the Wolfgang guitars are hideous. I agree. I think the Ernie Ball guitars are way nicer. The PV Wolfgangs are actually pretty nice guitars, but I like the Ernie Balls. The Ernie Balls are kind of like halfway between a Telly and a Les Paul, and they just feel great in your hands. There's something really nice about the Ernie Ball guitars.
wholehearted.
Who farted?
Guys, what do you think about these things? You ever seen one of these?
Yeah, the big thing in guitars now. Did you have that done, custom done?
No, this is done by Fender. This is, you can see the tag on the back there.
Oh, it is a Fender.
But this is a made in Mexico. They call this a Splattercaster.
Splattercast.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
And so it's all made in Mexico. And I know they did a bunch of different colors. And this one is from 2003.
Looks
But
like the
yeah.
deal where they put all the paints on top of water.
Yeah, and just let the water.
Yeah, then they rid. So
well, that's like the swirl.
It's just floating. They just
That's what's going on now.
I
That's a
think this
big
is more
deal
of
with
a
swirling
sort of a
guitars.
spinning
Yeah,
effect
It
was
looks like
done
they
to
put
this
it on.
one.
Looks like they.
Yeah, they did. They had it on like a hook and just
If you
spin
take the
it
back
on it.
plate off, you can just see that it was a kind of a off-white guitar. That
Oh, it's a
started-
Strat, Gerald. It is a Strat. It's a Splattercaster. It's basically a Strat with a custom factory paint job on it. It's actually pretty nice. I don't know if that's real rosewood on the board, though. It's awful light for rosewood.
Let me see if I can show them this tag that's right here. If you guys could read that for a second.
It's
Yeah,
2003,
made in
so
Fender. A Splattercaster.
you know when he let go of that guitar, he must have really trusted that I had a hold of that neck because it did swing and it almost hit the floor. Think of that scene in the terrible Andrew Dice Clay movie Ford Fairlane when the Strat hits the ground and just shatters. I didn't want that to be the case. I would never drop his guitar.
I don't think anybody's ever seen that movie.
What, Ford Fairlane? It's a terrible movie. It's a terrible movie. Andrew Dice Clay's 15 minutes couldn't end quick enough.
Guys, I'm just showing you a bunch of stuff. Guys, love looking at guitars. That's why you're watching this channel. This is that new Squire Contemporary series. So the brand new Squires.
No finish on the back of that neck,
And
or it's a.
It has the 22nd fret. It's got Alnico. It's got humbuckers. I don't know. Are they Alnico? I'm not sure. It's got a 2-point trem. So if you look back, I did a video on this guitar.
Looks like a lot of guitar for $150.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. I have this one priced really, really low. And it is very minty as far as condition.
Yeah, it's in great shape.
There's no chips or anything.
Looks like
on
the
it.
plastic was just pulled off the back of that the plate on the back of the guitar. That thing is in
Yeah.
really good shape.
But this is the Contemporary series, I think they call them.
The neck is satin and smooth. It looks really, really nice.
They paint the headstock to match the guitar.
Which they did for a while in the 90s too. There was a series of American Strats that had painted headstocks that were pretty cool.
Oh, it was called the Strat.
Oh, I remember the Strat. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Strat was their first attempt at a super Strat, which was 2 single coils and a humbucker, which was made famous by Mr. Van Halen. My head. Yeah. Everybody's referencing Ford Fairlane now. Yeah, for such a shit movie, everybody saw it.
I think the average person, though, we were all on board with, hey, Ben, how you doing? We were all on board with wanting to like Andrew Dice Clay.
Well, he was a better looking Sam Kinison without the comedy. I mean,
I didn't care what he looked like. I was just voting for that kind of a comedian.
he was cool, is what we're trying to say. It was a character that Andrew Clay Silverstein invented years ago when he was doing club stuff. And here's a fun fact. Here's a Andrew Dice Clay sighting in Pretty in Pink, the John Cryer Molly Ringwald movie. He's the doorman at the club that they all hang out with Dweezil Zappa. Dweezil Zappa's also in that movie.
Oh, you know what else? Believe it or not, the brand new Star is Born with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. He plays Lady Gaga's father in that. So he's
And
still doing stuff.
he got rave reviews for it too.
Yeah, he did really good in that.
He's also a phenomenal drummer. You may or may not know that. Andrew Dice Clay can play drums. He's really good.
Phenomenal, though.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Well, when your expectations are, he sits down, you're like, oh Jesus, he's good.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he really is good.
That's cool.
You want your here? You can have
Oh, thank
your
you.
Franken acoustic.
One thing that I can say negative about this guitar,
It's green.
it's not very loud, and I think it might have to do with all the finish on it. Does that sound loud to you?
No. And it's not the strings. The strings aren't it. No, it's an acoustic electric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can plug it in. It's an acoustic. It'll work as an acoustic, but it's more for show than anything else. But I think, all that lacquer, I think may have deadened a little bit of the top wood.
It's called a Franken bucket. You know how they all made the tea buckets, right?
Yeah, this is for people that are into like greaser culture. Greaserama,
And
the
being
hot
all
rods.
tatted. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
hot
all
rods.
tatted up.
Yeah, it's a greaser culture type deal, making its way over into, again, there's that cars and music, sports and music, all those cultures crisscross a lot.
Oh man, it's talking about Wayne Charvel and
Yeah.
the town of Paradise and how they lost everything.
Yeah,
That is a
sucks.
sad story.
That sucks. Guys like Wayne Charvel, he's reinvented himself so many different times. That fire was really tragic. All fires are tragic, but when you know that there's a guy that's an artisan that's got a house full of handmade, beautiful guitars, some of which he's had for, 30, 40 years that are in his world, you can't really put a price on. I wouldn't say they're priceless because it's not like a Stradivarius violin, but years of seasoning and labor and love and blood and sweat and tears going up. And I mean, that's a tragedy any way you look at it. Mock funeral in the movie where the rock star was in a clear casket. Yeah, there was in that. And I believe in that mock funeral, I believe Guns N' Roses were there. There were a lot of people in that movie. Ford Fairlane was one of those situations like The Last Action Hero where the soundtrack exceeded the movie. Although I love The Last Action Hero. I say that, but the reality is I love The Last Action Hero. It was a parody of those movies, and I think a lot of people didn't get it. I think a lot of people took that movie way more seriously than it was intended.
What's going on today?
So that looks like an epi. Fire is the guitarist nemesis, yeah. I have I don't have any old Charvel guitars. We're talking about Wayne Charvel. I don't have any old Charvel guitars. I have a couple of the EVH Art Series guitars, but by then, Wayne had sold the brand long ago. They're still American made, but they're not what they were. It was Vince Neil. You're right. Now Vince doesn't fit in the casket. Too soon? Yeah, I remember that. What was the movie? Oh, it was the Deadpool. The Deadpool that Guns N' Roses were in with Clint Eastwood. The rock star was played by Jim Carrey. The guy that died in that movie was Jim Carrey in the Deadpool. Terrible.
So 148 ship.
Now, again, for those, I guess everybody sees the chat. So, Vince sings about every third word. But you know what? I mean, that's not unique. For a while, Mick Jagger sang every third word. Steven Tyler sang every third word. David Lee Roth pretended like he forgot the words. He never forgot the words. You've all been taken. That Us Festival thing where he says, "I forgot the words." It's all a work.
I saw him do that every single show.
Yeah, no, it was.
Jamie's crying. Second verse.
Yeah, no,
he's like, I forgot the words.
Yeah, it was a work. It was pro wrestling, and every time, and he was, David Lee Roth was the king of you guys are the rowdiest crowd we've ever played to, and I don't just say that in insert town here.
Yeah. This is something like that.
So, what else? I'm trying to think of what other guitars that are unique, that are kind of cool, that Dane has in here. I have, I just sort of stumbled in the middle of his stream, so that didn't sound right, did it? You're in hot water.
No, you have to have a sick mind to think about it like that. So.
Well, guilty as charged.
Okay.
Dane actually has customers right now, so I'm just sort of sitting in for him while he's swinging deals and breaking hearts and whatever it is that he's doing.
But I don't know.
I didn't shave for the occasion, by the way. I apologize. Let's see what else. Line from Dr. Feelgood that he's going to be here, Frankenstein. Yes, it did, Axis. That's yeah, I know, Ben. I know. I said I put that right on the tee, and if you hadn't swung at it, I might have thought a little less of you. You should have absolutely take me to task for that one. Every once in a while, you step in it. So, let's see. Oh, he's got a Dan Electro Longhorn. Oh, no, it's not a Longhorn. He does have a Longhorn bass. No kidding. I just saw that. I've been sitting here for 40 minutes and just spotted 2 Dan Electro basses that he has here on the wall. One is like a powder blue Longhorn, and the other one is your regular Dan Electro with the lipsticks on it. He's going to price pretty good. I can see I can actually see the prices from here without my readers. Yeah, it's good to see a lot of people. Yes, guest hosting. I don't know how I ended up in here. He owes me money for this, I think. I'll pick out a guitar and try and get him to cut me a deal for it. I'll work the buddy deal if I can. Yeah, all right. We don't have a bass amp to plug it in. So. Oh, yeah, that's what I should do. I should try and find a guitar to give away for free. He did that before when I was in here. Dane, when he has friends in here, tends to make some questionable decisions.
What?
Somebody said free guitar. I was like, yeah, last time I was in here, we did that. Dane was just like,
we did a free guitar giveaway thing. Let me think of something.
And I said, last time I was in here, Dane did that because when he has friends in, he tends to make questionable decisions. I'm not wrong. I'm going to see if I can get him to give away something free. You're welcome. What are you giving away? Why is she banging on the wall? It's not like, yeah, she is crazy. Oh, that is hideous.
Should we give this thing away?
Yeah, that is something. Somebody wants it. Somebody wants it.
You have to be present to win.
Come on down and get your Daisy Rock amplifier. What's this, 15 watts, 10
now
watts?
You have to come in on Saturday, which is tomorrow. And the first one that says, hey, I want that free amp. Last time we gave away that little PV amp, there were 3 people waiting at the front door when I opened up at 11 a.m.
Good for you. Well, that's called proper promotion. So if anybody wants it's a 10-watt amp. It's hideous. This is the kind of amp that you bring with you, like when you go camping or you're just hanging out somewhere. You would put it out in the garage. You just want to woodshed out in the garage for a while. Or, It's a 10-watt amp. It's going to sound like
give it to your daughter.
Yeah, it's going to sound like a 10-watt amp. It's going to do its job.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess tomorrow, first person that comes down tomorrow that says, hey, I saw this on your stream.
Yeah.
And I want the free amplifier.
Ben lives in like Alberta, Canada or someplace, huh, Ben? It's too far for him to come and get it. But again, this amp will be free to the first person that asks me tomorrow, Saturday.
Oh, give away a yo-yo.
The date? Saturday the 8th.
Give away a yo-yo.
You want me to give away my yo-yo?
Well, somebody said I'd rather have a yo-yo.
Okay.
They'd rather have a yo-yo. Pick a prize.
No,
yo-yo or 10-watt.
Send me an email. And Ben, this is the same for you. If you want one of my ZIMM'S guitars yo-yos, send me an email with your address. Oh, Ben's in Ontario. Okay, guys, I only have about 20 yo-yos. But if you email me with your address, I will send you free yo-yos. But I run out after about 10 or 20 of them.
Well, it's either 10 or 20.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about math.
Do I have to go
finite.
count? Should I go count?
No, you don't have to go count. Just say supplies are limited while supplies last. See what I did there?
Okay.
That's a sales term. I know how to do this.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fun stuff, guys.
Sign the yo-yo. Look at this. You guys are getting demanding. It's
Here's
free.
The thing. I've had this autograph. I'm going to say autograph, not signed. Okay. No, I've had to sign a couple of these. It's already happened. I know it's strange.
I used to
but
keep.
whatever.
It's dumb. I don't get the autograph thing. Like how do I put this the right way? I've been asked before. Somebody's asked me to sign something. I used to keep an ink pad with me, like a little thin red ink pad, and I would just take it and take my thumbprint and just thumbprint on it instead of signing something because I can't write. I write terribly. You couldn't read it anyway, so you just say, "Oh, that's his thumbprint."
Here's what I'm.
And then you can use it for committing a crime.
I'll put my email address in the description of this stream when it's all done. I think I can figure out how to do that. Yeah. See, Ben's like, "What's your email address?"
Well, say it and make them write it down.
Okay, it's Dane Zimmerman. One word.
Dane Zimmerman, DANEZIMMERMAN.
99@gmail.com.
So now you can use that email address to sign up for all the Pornhub
No,
emails that
don't do that kind of stuff to me, man.
I'm not really a good friend, am I? I just texted Dane my address.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you got your phone. Your phone number is the store phone.
That's right.
So yeah, you could just text it to the if you know the store's phone number, just text your email address
I'm
to
gonna
Dane.
send them out, guys.
Of course, now you're going to be beating up Dane's data plan, unless he's probably got an unlimited plan. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm on that.
You got customers, man. Why don't you take care of your customers?
Oh, these guys are fine.
All right.
Yeah.
I have to come in once a week or so. See
That
what's
is
new.
a Harley Benton.
That's what I do. I was just explaining to people online that people come in here. This is a weird store because you never know what's going to walk in, and it doesn't stay long. If it's something that's unique, there's a group of us that come in and basically raid the place. I'm on board with it. I get it. Stay out of the store. I mean, come on back whenever.
It's kind of heavy, so it might be like ash or something.
Yeah, the guy was just saying he comes in every week because you never know what's going to walk in here. And he's got some stuff that's been here for a while, but he's got some stuff that comes in and goes within 24, 48 hours. Like I didn't realize it was still here, but he's got a Graham Oliver SG, the vintage Graham Oliver SG. It's based on Graham's 61 SG Les Paul custom. It's white with like the old Bigsby style trem on it. And they're nice guitars. They're pretty nice guitars. But who would have thought the Graham Oliver from Saxon would have a signature model guitar? He's got one on the wall here. They don't make them anymore, I don't think. You can't find them anymore. So
it's out there.
it's essentially it's an EVH Stripes, right? Yeah, it's EVH Stripes.
Well, what you're paying for, the guy charges for the Relic, and he's all.
Paul, go ahead and give us your thoughts on this.
Oh, you guys are still on?
I think and we were talking about. Is this yours? Yeah. We were just talking. The guy that owns this guitar just came in. If I can ask roundabout, what'd you pay for it?
The guy that sells them,
Right.
he sells them for $2,300.
All right. So essentially, what's happening here is you've got it's a pretty good deal for a relicking of the guitar. Now, what kind of pickup is that?
It's all stock.
It's all stock. So this is going to be the EVH Frankenstein. The pickup that comes.
Stock. It's literally a stock EVH.
All right.
Yeah, all he did is reliced it and routed the cavities and reliced it and tried to make it as close. He charged. Did.
The penny
setup
looks
and-
perfect. The routing along here, how it's all weird and everything. That's how.
So what happened was this started out its life as we got the owner. What's your first name?
Carrie.
Carrie is here. The owner of this EVH Frankenstrat replica just said it started its life
As the
EVH Stripe series, which retails for about $900 to $1,000 new. Sent it off to a guy in Tennessee.
No.
You bought it from Judah?
I didn't, but that's where
Right. It comes from Judah Guitars in Tennessee. What these guys do is they take these guitars and they route them out like Eddie did. They change the pickup angle like Eddie did. The way that Eddie resolved this issue is he straightened the pickup out and then he made the trems offset. So if you have like one of the Ernie Ball Music Mans, they have the Godot tremolo system on it instead of the actual Floyd Rose. And the trem saddles are offset just a little bit, kind of like the way the poles are offset from the strings. That's how he gets that unique tone with it. So they do this at Judah Guitars. They changed that. They obviously satin the finish off and relic everything like Eddie's original Frankenstrat. Put all the reflectors on it. They hack up the back here. They changed the neck plate out because that was the EVH It was an EVH Stripes neck. The plate.
Yeah, that's the way I got it.
Yeah. So they changed the neck plate out of it.
With the blue paint.
Yeah.
And where it's scratched up, going in and out of.
And the pickup switch is not wired in, so this is it's wired up just like Eddie's. That pickup is useless right there. They put the tone knob on there, and they make it look like the original Frankenstrat, 1971 quarter, accurate, nice job. D-Tuna, not accurate. D-Tuna didn't exist back then. That's one of the only flaws on the guitar, if you can say a flaw, but it's a plus because you can drop it down to D. And then they put the cigarette burns up here to make the thing look like it's all hacked up, and you can see there's a stamp from the guitar, Judah Guitars, which I think is again in Tennessee, and you have to be very careful. See, this situation is great because it's not a trademark infringement. We talked about this guitar when we first signed on and said you got to be very careful when you paint one of these things up and try and sell it. This is not a trademark infringement because it's an actual EVH guitar,
And he won't sell them without the EVH on the.
right? The EVH has to be up here because Fender and Eddie Van Halen own that pattern. So if somebody is painting your guitars like this and selling them to you, that's pirated guitars. It's no different than a Chibson. So in this situation, all he did was get a guitar that was Relic. So this is an actual EVH guitar that's been reliced up to look like the Frankenstrat. Thank you for clarifying that because that was something we were talking about a little bit earlier.
What a beast. Arizona Kelly, how you doing, man?
Yeah, you're right. Any one of those. I mean, look, I've got a striped up Kramer 1984, and I've got an EVH Stripe Series guitar, and The Charvel Art Series guitars. They're more for show than go. I mean, they play great. They play well, and they sound great, and they're fun to play. But you step on stage with a guitar striped up like Eddie Van Halen's guitar, and you're not in a Van Halen tribute band, it's a little awkward looking. I don't know why it would be. I mean, all it does is shows that you're a fan. The interesting thing about it is the Les Paul guitar is synonymous with so many different guitar players. The thing that Eddie did is that paint job is so singular that nobody else can get away with it.
No, I took mine to
I
took mine to a blues jam the other Sunday night though.
You took what your
I took an EVH to a blues jam.
Yeah, well, it's an EVH guitar.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so it's like the. Would you take the Wolfgang?
No, I took that Squire one that has the SoCal reverse headstock one that I have.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I like SG guitars, Maurice. I was gonna get rid of my SG. I put it up on eBay a while back, and I didn't get the price I wanted. So I relisted it again, and I didn't get the price I wanted. And it wasn't unreasonable, but it was nobody on eBay wants to pay real prices. They want to try and lowball you. So I kept it. I hung on to it, and I kept it. And I'm glad I did because I pulled it out about a week ago, and I was just like, oh yeah. I mean, I have it because Angus played one. You know, I love that sound. There's a sound that comes with the SG that is pretty singular. It's a lot like a Les Paul, but it's a little thinner, a little more harsh, not as warm and jazzy sounding. So it's a nice Friday afternoon. What are you doing? What are you bringing over?
This is a Mosrite copy. This
Mosrite
is an
copy.
old Gaiatone.
It's Japanese.
Japanese from the 1970s Mosrite copy. And I did a YouTube video a couple of days ago.
You see the finish checking on it. It's it's old. This guitar's got to be 40 years old. It's heavy. It's got to be 40 years old.
I believe it.
Yeah. This is a heavy
Definitely
guitar.
the 70s.
That neck is like a baseball bat. Cheap Japanese tuners. The cheap Japanese tuners on it. But this is, look, Japanese guitars. I would rather have a 40-year-old Japanese guitar than a brand new Indonesian guitar. And the only reason why I say that is just because of the age of wood, just to me feels a little bit better. It doesn't mean they're better made because guitar technology has advanced to the point where new guitars, the way the CNC machines and routing and stuff are done now, are a little bit more consistent. So there's nothing wrong with a cheaply made Asian guitar. I just, for Mojo, maybe because I'm old, for the Mojo factor, I like old Japanese guitars. They just have a cool feel to them. That's cool.
Nick Sterling was in my store last week, and he played this for us. If you look back in a couple of my videos back, or actually it was the last video I made, Nick played this thing, and we had it just in a clean channel. And Nick Sterling's a young guitar player that is
really good
right here in the Phoenix area, and he did that last Sebastian Bach album.
No,
Yeah, he rocked it.
Really good guitar player.
Local Phoenix kid.
Started out when he was like 12.
Is he a
And
great keyboard player?
yeah, he's a phenomenal musician. Got a couple different bands he does things with.
Zeppelin tribute where he played
Yeah.
keys.
Yeah, he
That's
does.
right.
He does really well. His kid's name. You can probably Google videos of Nick Sterling. He's good. And Phoenix has a couple of great musicians that should be national names that aren't. Nick Sterling is one of them. David Bedell is another one.
Now, if you were in a Ramones tribute band, now this thing would work instead of having to have a Maserite and all the money that you have to have for that. Because this is very Maserite looking.
Yeah, it's good bar guitars. You know what I mean? Like that's the beauty
Yeah.
of a lot of the guitars here that Dane has. I mean, they're all used. Well, some of them are new old stock. But look, if you spend $2,000 on a Les Paul, bringing that to a club
Ben's asking me how
you're
much.
rolling the dice.
Ben's asking me how much. I'd love to sell it to you. That says $550.
I have my finger over the
$550. Now you can see once in a while you'll see them on Reverb in the 600 neighborhood, and Ben, I can negotiate too.
Yeah, Dane's not going to let a couple dollars stand between you and your guitar.
Oh, Gerald's getting the yo-yo. My son works at the local UPS store down the street.
So you get the bro deal? Nice.
No, but I get my AAA discount.
Do you really?
Yeah.
AAA or
Not AAA.
not AAA? Yeah.
No, it's the AARP.
AARP
discount.
discount.
I'm an old guy, man. What do you think?
Nothing better. When I got my first AARP mailer, I was like,
AARP.
screw you. I'm not that old. How's it going, man? Now Dane is getting more
It's got
customers.
really nice checkered. Look
Yeah,
at that.
That finish checking is pretty cool.
It's hard to see because my internet is so slow. My wireless is slow, so this is going to be real grainy. But you might be able to see some of the checkering in that on the back of that. It is. It's a nice piece.
Yeah, I was trying to sell your vintage Graham Oliver.
Oh yeah, you need to sell that for me.
I like that guitar. Yeah, it's quiet now. Although we got a guy playing one of the Harley Bentons we were looking at earlier. That Harley Benton Telly. For $200, that's a good guitar, isn't it? It plays well. Yeah.
All right, here's Mr. Graham Oliver.
This is
right
cool.
there.
This is a cool guitar. This is the Graham Oliver signature model. Graham, the guitar player from Saxon.
Yeah.
If you look at old Saxon videos, you'll see he's got a 61 or 62 Les Paul SG, which is what the SG was. It was the early 60s Les Paul was redesigned to the SG. Les hated the design and had his name taken off of it. So they named it the SG for solid guitar. This is a solid guitar, not a bolt-on neck. I think they're made in Korea, or I don't remember where it's from. But this is vintage guitars.
Yeah, vintage guitars.
I like this guitar. I almost bought this guitar last time I was in. I love the Bigsby style trim. Oh, it's not Bigsby. It's like the old classic bow style.
Vibrola. Ben, so you're going to Summer NAMM in Nashville. Is that what you're talking about? I went to Winter NAMM out in Anaheim, and that was so much fun. That was like the funnest weekend of my life.
This is Tom Wilkinson was involved in these things. This is heavy. This is a heavy guitar. It's a heavy, solid piece of wood.
Those vintage guitars, they're trying to make Gibson guitars at about half the cost, where it's everything about it is very Gibson-ish, other than the name on the headstock.
And then there's no real nibs on the neck. The neck is pretty well done. It is a heavy guitar. Grovers on it. It's got actual Grover tuners, not the licensed ones, but real Grovers. This is a cool guitar. And Wilkinson electronics pickups and stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds good. And here's how it's not a Gibson. You look at, see the way that's offset? The SG trademark is at the SG, the upper bout
Both
and
the
lower
horns
bout.
are the same.
Yeah, the upper bout and the lower bout. So that's how it's not really an SG, but it is an SG. And the idea that Graham Oliver, if you're a Saxon fan, this is kind of a cool guitar to own. I like Saxon, but I have an SG.
What they had a hit song about a war or something. What was
Yeah,
that?
Broken Heroes.
Broken Hero.
They also did a great song about the assassination of JFK called Dallas 1 p.m. They have an album. They have a great album called Strong Arm of the Law, which is probably their best album overall. 1980. Saxon is one of those new wave of British heavy metal bands that never really hit in this country. And when they got close to it, they got close to it in like 80.
I saw them though. They toured.
Oh, no, they still tour.
Yeah, I saw them.
Some 85, 86, they put an album called Rock the Nations. They have Elton John on keyboards on that record. He plays, there's a song called Party Till You Puke on it. And Elton John plays piano on a Saxon album.
Wow.
And then,
how about that?
And then the follow-up album, they did a cover of Ride Like the Wind by Christopher Cross. And that was pretty much the end of Saxon in the United States. True story.
Nice Guy Eddie is like, how much is that thing? I have that priced at $450.
That's a good deal. I mean, that's what an Epiphone is going to cost you. And this has nicer pickups than the Epiphone in it. I think this is a nicer guitar than the Epiphone SG.
Guys, he's got a ESP Viper and the horns are offset.
Yeah.
ESP makes great guitars.
Yep. And the guitar company that they use to make their LTD series is in North Korea. South Korea, excuse me, called World Musical Instrument Company.
Now, grab that Kramer Beretta behind you. That's I'll take the gram from you. But
It's a Focus.
but
You want all
isn't
this,
that
Brad?
isn't that an ESP Kramer?
This one here? Yes.
Oh, okay. Because Paul knows a lot about ESP guitars.
So back in the mid late 80s, Kramer, who were obviously at the time, Eddie Van Halen was a minority owner in the company, a silent partner in the company. So he wanted his piece. So Kramer had to, in order to speed up manufacturing and make the guitars a little bit more affordable for people that wanted Kramer guitars, they contracted him out to a Japanese guitar company called Electric Sound Products. So all the old Focus series guitars, the Focus 1000, 3000, 6000, 5000 series, all of those guitars were made by Electric Sound Products. You can see a little stamp on the back, made in Japan. The Japanese Focus series, the original Kramer Focuses, are all ESP guitars. Fact. So not the Strikers. The Strikers were farmed out to somebody else, but the old first series, the Focus with the number on the headstock, are all ESP guitars. So you're buying an actual ESP guitar for cheap money because it was before ESP had become what they are today. So keep that in mind if you're like pawn shopping or you're out, yard sailing, or if you're here at ZIMM'S Guitars, because he's got several of these numbered Focus series. I see this one. There's at least 1, 2, 3 other Focus series. He's also got one that looks like it's a Beretta. It's got a Beretta headstock on it, but I think it might have been manufactured. It might be a Beretta neck on another body.
It's round white stuff and you roll it up.
Hang on, have to put it back. These guitars in backwards because the headstock.
Hey guys,
Sorry about that.
thank you guys for watching and hanging out with us today.
Uh-oh. I guess Dana's wrapping it up.
No, keep going.
Oh.
You're up.
Yeah, no, I was just
You're
putting
enjoying your
that
good
back.
time chatting with
I'm answering questions.
you got 26 people on.
There is a big demand for Berettas again. I have a 1984 Kramer. That was the music, I guess the Music Yo years or whatever. They made the 1984 is what it's called. And it's based on the original Beretta non-tilt headstock. That's the one that I sent off to Carmel, New York to have painted up by CHS Custom Guitars. Those guys do a great job. Craig is an artist. He can do anything with anything you want with your guitars. Send them up there. He'll cut them. He'll refinish them. He repaints them. It's all fantastic. So I had him paint my Kramer up like the 5150.
Oh no, what are we looking at?
Friedman.
Yeah.
Tiny little Friedman head.
The Pink Taco 20. Now there's a story that they were not allowed to call this the Pink Taco.
I wonder why.
And so then they named it the PT20, But now there's another company that has a dispute with them because they already have a PT20.
Oh boy.
So Friedman's getting their wires are getting crossed a little bit. But
Dano's the swear jar.
this is the whole hand-wired Friedman.
Nice guy. He wants to know if you have any non-bronze BC riches. Hang on, I'll look.
No, I don't think I do.
We got a platinum series.
Yeah, I got that bass over there that I showed you guys earlier.
Yeah, he's got a platinum series Warlock bass, the old school Nicky Six style, almost Blackie. Blackie Wallace was a widow bass, but yeah, he's got that.
I'm going way back up into the comments, but we're talking about those Berettas, and I probably love the Kramers right now more than anything. Charvels and Kramers, I'm really into them right now. And we went up to Guitar Center, and I got that Chapman, but there was that Charvel up there, and I'm like, I should change my mind and get that Charvel up there.
I've almost gone back because they also had a Charvel San Dimas style 2 telly in like walnut. It was beautiful. What a beautiful guitar. And I thought about buying it. It's got coil taps on it and Duncan's in it. And then I realized I don't need another guitar. In order for me to get another guitar, I would have to sell off some of the ones I have. So I go and I look at the guitars I have and I go, well, I don't want to sell these. So I have too many guitars. So Dane is really, it's weird. He has a fetish for certain guitars. This is a very, very nice guitar. Rob Chapman, who you probably have seen if you watch YouTube videos, he does stuff with an English music company. He's got glasses and sometimes he has the dreads, the dread weave in there.
Andertons.
Yeah, so he does that. I wasn't going to name him because this is a business. But he makes his own guitar. Well, he doesn't make his own guitars. He has a company. He's got his own guitar company, and they're made by World Music, and they are very, very nice guitars.
I think that Rob's partner, the captain, right?
Lee Anderton
basically owns this brand. That's the rumor that I'm hearing.
It's the house brand for their guitar store.
Yeah,
kind of like Mitchell Guitars
Rob
is
Chapman's
for Guitar Center.
got his name on it, but Lee Anderton pretty much owns it. Show him the back of that thing.
And yeah, I love that stripe.
ML1 Pro
It's
Modern.
ML1 Pro Modern, yeah. And these are nice guitars. Dane likes them a lot.
It's got a lot of weight to it. You know what? And like I was telling you guys, Phil McKnight comes in here from time to time. And I got this guitar, and the next time he walked in here, I was like, Phil, oh my God, check this thing out. And Phil picked it up for a second, and he said, oh, it's too heavy, and he put it right back.
Meanwhile, Phil owns Les Pauls, and he's complaining about weighty guitars.
But the reason this has weight to it is because the amount of maple in this. Look at all the maple in this thing.
That neck, it's actually, there's a potential for neck dive on this thing here because it is heavy on this end, and there's not a whole lot of body mass on this end because it's thin. So there's a potential for, if you don't have a good, a strap that grabs your shoulders, a potential for neck dive. But it's great. It's a good guitar.
The pickups ohm out really hot. This ohms out at like 14 something. This ohms out at 15 something. So if you're looking for clean stratty tones, you're not going to get it out of this guitar. This is to play metal.
It's a hot guitar.
Yeah. But I'm kind of, I'm on this Chapman kick, but I think I'm starting to fade away from it. I have 3 of them now, and I'm starting to kind of fade from I'm starting to hear a couple of negative things about them.
Yeah, but welcome to the guitar world on the internet. Negative things are said about, society is like, look at the guy that just won all those games in Jeopardy. By the time he got to the point where he was going to beat the record for the amount of money that Ken Jennings won, everybody was rooting against him. That's the world we live in today. Look, if people,
you root against the
underdog,
the
gets
top
beat up.
dogs,
yeah,
and you root for the underdogs. And Chapman was an underdog for a long time.
Now you've made it.
Now he's made it, and so, but I don't know if that's got anything to do with it. But there's a couple of reasons to love these guitars, and there's a couple of reasons to kind of be like, well, not really my thing.
You've made it when people start bad mouthing you. That's true. Because what you want is you want to get the needle to move. You want people to either love you or hate you. Because if the needle stays in the middle, That's vanilla. And don't get me wrong, that's everybody's favorite flavor of vanilla. But what do you do with vanilla? You add something to it to move it, to give it a little bit of flavor. So, oh, he's buying his guitar. What are you buying? You buying that Harley Benton? Yeah, that Telly. So that Harley Benton Telly that we were playing with a little bit earlier is no longer for sale. It's been sold. Again, for $200, that's a great guitar.
Well, he had a little trade-in on it.
Oh, and he traded in. So that's great. So there's that Harley Benton. That's a good guitar.
That was mine too.
Oh, was it? So do you get a kickback on it?
Thank you, James.
Yeah.
Yep. It's yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Maurice says as you get older, heavier guitars get heavier. Heavy guitars get heavier. He's right. That's why Jimmy Page at the O2 Arena show was playing a Gretsch hollow body for a while because those Les Pauls on his back. He's got a bad back to begin with, so that's why he was playing some hollow bodies for a while.
Enjoy that guitar.
Yeah.
What's going on, Robert? It is. I've been here. We've been doing this for like an hour. Who knew? It's a long stream. That's what she said. You can tell I have nothing to do. I work, for those of you, I work at a radio station here in town in the morning. I've been up since like 3 o'clock this morning, which is why I look so magnificently well shaved, well kept. So I'm ready to go to sleep, but I'm not going to because it's Friday. I sleep during the week, and then I catch up on whatever's going on. Like it's for those of you that are watching from other parts of the country, we're expecting 110 degrees by Monday here in Phoenix. So it's going to be about 105, 108 Saturday and Sunday. The temperature's rising. What do we got here?
This is the heaviest whatever
It's an
I've ever
acrylic.
seen in my life.
Wow, this thing is heavy. This is it's kind of a
I didn't
Strat.
hear you.
It's an acrylic Strat. This is all acrylic. It's urethane. This whole guitar body is acrylic. It's been dipped in a mold. Jeez, I don't know what this is. It's a parts caster. So it's been built out of a bunch of different things. This is the heaviest guitar I've ever felt.
You can see down through here. You can kind of see. You can kind of see the controls and everything down in there. I want to take the pick guard off of it so I can actually look at it. But I'm guessing that thing is 16 pounds.
Easy. Yeah, this is the heaviest guitar I've ever. Have you lifted this?
That's hard. That's
This is the heaviest guitar I've ever. You could do curls with this guitar.
It's almost as heavy as those acrylic.
But the thing is,
This is a heavy
you know,
guitar.
I would love to get an Ampeg Dan Armstrong
Jesus.
short scale bass that's the clear acrylic with that wood grain pick guard. You know those things?
This
But-
does not resonate
I
at
don't
all.
understand that guitar
It's dead.
is that heavy, but it's not even like see-through or translucent where you can see anything inside. So I don't really understand the point of it.
This is a showpiece.
What if you put a light behind it? Does it have any glow at all?
No,
No,
it's too dense.
It might. I can see through it with the light.
You can see it on the edges.
That's what I mean. I wonder if,
Yeah, on the
what
edges,
if you
maybe
get any
if
light.
you put a light in
You
it,
could
you
put
would,
LEDs in
maybe
it.
put
I bet.
LEDs in it and see what happens.
That's what I'd do.
Yeah.
Just to see what it looked like. And if you
Jesus,
didn't,
this
I'd
is
hang it on
this
my
is
wall.
about that's maybe not even a quarter inch. Maybe
And it's sharp too.
It is sure.
this is the heaviest guitar I've ever picked up.
Pretty big.
It's a heavy guitar, but I will tell you, unless it sounds good plugged in, no offense, Dan, I wouldn't buy this. No way. No, this is a weapon. Is what this is. Keep this in your car. Keep this in your car, and if somebody, Jesus, this is. I mean, even swinging this. That is a heavy guitar. That might be 20 pounds, Dan.
I know.
That might be a 20-pound guitar. This is not a guitar. This is a weapon. Put that in your car. That way the police won't give you a hard time for holding a weapon. But
You
Jesus
get pulled
Christ.
over a lot. You're always talking about that.
I'm just
How many
saying.
times you got pulled over lately?
I haven't been pulled over in like 8 years. I got pulled over. I was speeding in Chandler, Arizona.
I think it's because you have that Raiders.
The Raiders thing in the back. Yeah.
Big old Oakland
Yeah, that's why I get
Raiders
pulled
thing.
over.
No, that's why you don't get pulled over.
Yeah, maybe.
They think you're a gang member.
This is the heaviest guitar I've ever felt, and there's no way in hell I would buy it. Yeah, there's no way in hell I would buy this guitar. That's not a guitar for playing. That is a guitar for lying down and avoiding. That's a guitar. You need a truss. That's it. You want to find out if you got a hernia, pick that guitar up, or you will. I hope it sounds great plugged in, because I would hate to see that Dane wasted his money on buying it.
Little flower telly feels so light.
Yeah, now all of a sudden this Telecaster, which is not a light guitar by any stretch, but after holding that piece of granite, Jesus, that was heavy.
Thank you.
You want that?
No, I have a question.
Hang on, we have a question.
What did you do for strap on your? Where'd you get your strap for your?
For my EVH, I have an EVH strap and it's got eye holes in it. It's got you can get the EVH strap. You can buy those
Yeah,
with
no,
it.
I've seen that. Is there any other straps besides that one that have ability to hook the hooks on?
Well, yeah, you can do it this way. You get a loop.
No, that's so everyone was put on any one of them.
Yeah, but just what I'm saying, you just get one of these loops. You can buy one of these loops.
Just put it on any strap.
Yeah, just put it on any strap. Put it through your leather strap,
Yeah.
and then just latch it on here like that. So you can get these. You can get these hooks, those loops at Home Depot and stuff like that.
I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, you've got an eye hook on yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go get one of these, put it through an actual strap. You might even want to put a grommet in that strap.
I want to get the one that locks.
Oh yeah, get the. But yeah, I got my buddy Craig up at CHS. He got me an EVH strap.
I just like that. I just want
Yeah.
some long.
Robert, how you doing?
Okay.
I thought these were yours.
Got this buddy named Robert, and he paints guitars for me.
Yes, that was what I was going to do. The Monty Python reference. You're welcome. That's great. That's a great guitar, man. All right, cool. Yeah, you like the Monty Python reference? Thank you very much. It's my Eric Idle. This is not a wine for drinking. This is a wine for lying down and avoiding. I knew somebody would get it. Anytime you can make a Monty Python reference and somebody gets it, it's how you know you're a member of the club. Love me some Monty Python. Good day, Bruce. Hi, Bruce. Saying them all, Squire.
I know. Could you imagine playing a gig for 3 hours holding that thing?
No, I had that thing. I was literally
Put it in there.
holding it up like
Put
that.
it
I
in
was
the
literally, it was literally straining on my elbows and shoulders because I'm old. This thing is stupid. That is a stupid. Where did you get that?
It walked in the door, and I'm like,
Can I ask how much?
well, I gave a guy $200 for a big old PV half stack and this guitar.
All right. Well, then the half stack was worth the $200.
I got my money back on just the PV head. So basically, through trades, this guitar and a PV 412 cabinet was like all profit. But I don't know what you can do to make money with something.
Are you going to sell this? How much you want to sell this for? Let's sell this guitar.
No, because it'd be too heavy to ship it anywhere.
It's insane. This. You got to get a. You have a scale? You do drugs?
No.
Oh. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? That is the heaviest guitar I've ever felt. It might as well be made of metal. And I don't mean like metal. I mean literally metal.
You want to take a pick guard off of it?
Sure.
All right.
Let's find out what's in this thing.
Talking.
It
I'll be right back.
It is a massive chunk of acrylic. I don't know what to compare it to. It's literally what is something that we would use that's made out of acrylic that's solid like that. That thing is a solid piece of. I mean, it doesn't resonate at all playing it unplugged. Jesus. That thing is gross. It's again, it's fun, and I'm glad that he didn't pay a lot of money for it. I mean, I'm not dumping on him. He got a good deal. He gave the guy that was thrown in for $200 to give a guy for a PV half stack. That's a pretty good deal. Yeah. That's the other thing is Dane is good about working with you with money. He loves to trade. He's a big trader. Loves to trade. Loves guitars. He's not doing this for the profit. He's doing it because he loves music. He makes his money. He makes his rent. Does his thing, and he's fair. He's fair with people. Boy, I've spent a couple of thousand in this store in a couple of years, just because I don't want to go to another store. I mean, I'll wait until he gets something that I want instead of searching out somewhere else. He's pulling the pick guard off that hunk of plastic. That thing is. I wish we had a scale. You have a scale in your bathroom back there anywhere? I want to know what that thing weighs. It is heavy. You know, when you pull that pick guard off, let's find out what kind of pickups and stuff are in it, because it'd be interesting if that thing had like nice electronics. It better have something, because it's not resonant at all.
Okay, we're gonna set that right there. And I'm gonna take this little camera and I'm gonna aim it down here at you.
You want me to pull this off?
Yeah, how's that looking? How's my camera work doing?
It's good.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna pull the. Can't really swing it around, but take a look inside that cavity. That's all solid acrylic.
It looks like two pieces.
No, it went into a mold. They just routed out underneath it, and the pickups aren't really shielded. It's all rubber, plastic.
Yeah. Single magnet, just imported, cheap imported stuff.
Yeah, but you're not buying this. I don't think you're buying this for quality. I think you're buying it. This is a conversation piece. You should hang this on the wall. Hang it on the wall for people to check out. Or get it. Or next time somebody comes in that's like a musician, a famous musician, get a soldering iron and have them solder their name into it.
Yeah, that would work.
Because this acrylic. I bet if you hit a soldering iron to it, you could solder your name into it.
Yeah.
Or have your customers sign it and then like auction it off for charity or something.
Yeah, it's a strange body. I will say that. And what's kind of weird is even the position of this is in a weird spot.
It's angled. It's not low. It's not angled and low where it's supposed to be. How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing well. He's got another customer. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up, brother.
Well, I don't know how I ended up guest hosting this thing, but I did. Dane was busy doing business because he needs an employee, and I work cheap. He's going to have to give me a guitar one of these days. I'm going to work for a guitar. So
Thanks for watching, guys. Let's hit the little button right there that says end stream. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.